Welcome to the Kelly Healing Project, where we have real conversations about healing, growth, and stepping into your power. I am Kelly, and I'm so glad you are here. So today's episode is going to be discussing the lesson Family Haven taught me that changed my life. So in 2018, I walked into Family Haven with my two boys, believing I needed to be rescued. Looking back now, I realize what I really needed was to learn how to rescue myself. So for those of you who don't know, Family Haven is a women's shelter. So as many of you know, I have I have overcome complex PTSD related to abuse that I experienced in my childhood. And unfortunately, when you have a caretaker who doesn't really show you your true value, who makes you constantly second guess yourself, who doesn't even allow you to really speak up, and when you do, you're constantly shut down and your feelings are basically invalidated, you don't really have a lot of respect for yourself. And then you find a partner that mimics what you have known, because the nervous system prefers what is familiar, because anything that is new, even if it's better than what is familiar, will be a threat. The nervous system will think that, hey, because this is new, this is not safe. And that is not always the case. I can go into more depth later on about how you can heal that. It's basically just taking small steps each day to kind of prove to your nervous system that this is not so scary after all, but that's besides the point. But yeah, so I was at a women's shelter, and it just got to the point where I didn't feel safe in my own home. 2018 was a huge year for me. I lost my job in January after my kids were sick with the flu. So, of course, the mom typically takes care of the kids. And so I had stayed home with the kids while I kind of believe I worked online. I was able to be a little bit remote. Then I got the flu. And as soon as I went back into the office, I had my doctor's note in hand and I got let go. But that was actually a turning point in my life, and I really needed that, because after I was let go from that job and I was searching for another one, and also this job had several let goes that I survived. So I don't really know what it is, but I knew that in my life something had to change. And it was actually, I am so grateful that I got let go from that job, because from that I was able to see certain patterns. I was able to be at home more, and I was able to see certain patterns with my ex that it wasn't safe. Like he would just blow up at the minor inconvenience. You get what I'm saying? Like even something as simple as kids need dental work. Okay, well, how are we going to make this happen? So I was like, I'm very hey, we need to come up with a plan. You can't ignore problems and expect them to go away. And he was extremely avoidant. He would just want to avoid it. So anytime I would try to bring it up, because at the end of the day, the kids are the most important. I don't, excuse the language, but fuck your feelings. And if you feel like you are not a good provider, that's not the problem here. You're making it about you, and it's about the kids. And, so I sat down, let's come up with a plan to how are we going to accomplish this? We know how much it's going to cost. How are we going to make this happen? And he would shut down completely. He would just punch a hole in the wall. The kids would be terrified. So I'd be in there trying to calm the kids down while I don't know where the hell he was. But anyways, and then I realized, God, I deserved a hell of a lot better than I was expecting. And of course, when you're with a narcissist, or you're with somebody who makes you, just gaslights you, or, the warning signs were there even from the beginning. And I just, I didn't have a really good teacher, a person to teach, because your parents are the first teachers of your own self-worth. I was so used to people, backhanded compliments. So basically, they're compliments disguised as jokes. Like, he would just joke about the stupidest thing. And towards the end, like, he would, I don't know, he had a lot of insecurities that he sure as hell didn't even work on. And so it showed in how he treated me. And, yeah, leaving was the best thing I ever fucking did. And I was so happy that I did. It was March 6th of 2018. And I used to, even on the anniversaries, I used to be like, oh, I'd want to celebrate them. And now I've become so accustomed to my life and how it is, and my life is amazing now that I don't even think about that anymore. I'm kind of reminded of it, but because I've just come so far. But I'm getting off topic a little bit, but through losing that job, I was able to see just, hey, this isn't working. I am so unhappy. And when you have somebody who has complex PTSD and they're in an environment that doesn't make them feel safe, and you have somebody who constantly, just at the minor inconvenience, will just blow up and slam things and try to, like flip over a chair. I mean, just talk about the amount of just immaturity. It's like a child in a adult body. But anyways, that's beside the point. I will no longer, and I'm sure people, they probably, I don't want you talking about that. I really don't give a fuck. You should have thought about how you treated me before any of this happened. It's amazing how the most narcissistic people will try to protect their own self-image instead of feeling bad for how they treated you. So I really don't care if anybody hears this or if, I don't give a shit. I don't care. And I'm sure he probably, I don't want her to get healed. I could care less. That's not my fucking problem. Anyways, but yeah, then I realized how toxic it was. You need, like, anybody needs a safe environment, and especially somebody who has past trauma, and you're just constantly blowing up because you're making it all about you and you're not even thinking about how you're affecting other people. Well, my story ends well because now my kids have a safe environment where they don't have to worry about somebody blowing up on them. And life is fucking great. I'm doing great financially. Like, I've bought a home since then. Anyways, life is amazing. But it was hard at the time. Even in 2018, my gosh, I would be in that freeze response. I remember sitting in the kitchen area of Family Haven, and I would just freeze up. Like, I couldn't even function to think, what do my kids want to eat? And a lot of time, because that was one traumatic area of my life. That was a traumatic time. Dinner time was traumatic because everybody wanted something different. And, just people just broke down. And plus, I don't know, I wasn't given the proper tools, but that place taught me so much. So when I arrived at Family Haven in 2018, I was exhausted. I was in constant survival mode. I had a lot of fear. I had uncertainty. I had a lot of doubt in myself. I still have a little bit of self-doubt, but for the most part, I've healed a lot of that. Like, I was just looking for safety, looking for answers, knowing basically that what went on in the past was not normal. And so I had to create just a sort of, it's time for me to create a safe, healing environment for myself and for my children. None of this gaslighting shit. And, because I see right through people now. Because people will act confident when really, they break down at the most slightest inconvenience. You are anything but confident. You act like it and you talk like it, but you sure as hell are not like it. You ever had those people where you kind of you were like, something ain't right here, and then they act a certain way? Yeah, they're very insecure, and insecurity tends to be the loudest. I've noticed. But that's where I was when I arrived. Like, my gosh. I was in freeze mode constantly. Like my body was physically there, but I wasn't completely there. But I mean, at the time, I knew I was disconnected from myself, but I didn't realize how disconnected I was from myself. I was constantly focused on everyone else's needs, everyone else's emotions, everyone else's expectations. I was so externally focused. It's ridiculous. And even then, even in that environment, you learn to read people. With my mom, with my ex, you learn to read people's emotion. You learn to almost try to pacify them. I am not the fucking parent. And I am so sick of, I'm sorry, I get so fired up on this, and you aren't either. Like, it's not my job to sit here and parent you, because you never learned proper nervous system regulation. You never learned any of that things. And you really didn't do anything to, okay, I'm going to stop. But it's not my job. It's not my job to help you regulate your own damn emotions. Maybe instead of wasting your time on a lot of low vibrational, I don't know, just things that get you distracted from what is actually fucking important, maybe you actually take the time and actually put in the work. Because I have gained so much knowledge from this journey, and I have learned that everything and how people treat you too, it's a projection of themselves. If they don't love themselves, they can't truly love you. And I've been around so many people who didn't truly love themselves, so they sure as hell couldn't teach it. But in my next partner, whoever the hell, like, next, oh my God, that is going to be a prerequisite. I'm gonna see, if does this person truly love him? Has he done the work? Does he truly love and accept himself? And it's not in a conceited way, but it's hey, I know how to fill up my cup first, so I don't need to look for outside validation. You give your power away. And I've done so many podcasts on giving your power away. But these people, they don't truly love themselves. So it's a projection of them. So you can't fucking take it personally. I am so sorry about the cussing, guys. I will put a warning on this, but even when I talk about this, I get very fired up. This is what my passion is. This is what I love to do. I thoroughly enjoy this. I just have to make sure I stay on track and don't get sidelined. But anyways, so what survival mode looks like. So basically, survival mode can look like walking on eggshells. You ever had those people? You don't want to piss them off, so you can't even say what is truly on your mind, because guess what? They're not even emotionally capable to handle it. They are so emotionally immature. They can't even handle the fact that, I bring up something as simple as stating a fact of, hey, our son needs some dental care. It's going to cost this much. How are we going to tackle this? Like, what are we going to do? What's the plan? Let's come up with ideas. And they just immediately shut down. So then, from that moment on, I learned that, guess what? I am pretty much on my own, and I can't even bring up something as simple as dental care. That's crazy. So then I was like, what the fuck do I need you for? Hell, I could do this shit all on my own. I don't even need you. And that's when you take your power back, too. Anyways. But yeah, walking on eggshells, it's like, I know, so like, what's the fucking point? Like, and I'm a hell of a lot happier with myself, and if something happens, guess what? Yeah, I just fucking take care of it. I don't need to sit here and overthink and get all angry. Just whatever. And also, survival mode can look like hypervigilance. Constantly scanning your environment for a threat. Because when you grew up in an environment, it was constantly filled with threats. When you had and I'm so sick of being surrounded by people who are so emotionally immature. I'm just so over it, I swear. But whatever. And it's really not that hard to regulate your nervous system. Breathe, meditate, hum, dance, sing. It's really not that hard. But yeah, constantly scanning your environment for a threat. And that was me. No wonder I couldn't focus on anything. I was so busy exhausting myself, scanning my environment for threats, because I learned not only growing up, was you can have a threat at any moment in time, because that's what my mom was, a constant threat. My goodness, that woman could just blow up like that, like so emotionally immature. It doesn't take a lot. You know, she's what I would equate to living with her was like living in a field with bombs that you couldn't see where the bombs are, but you knew they were going to go off. You just didn't know when. And yeah, and then even with my ex, hypervigilance, I had to constantly appease everybody. Let's make sure he can regulate his nervous system. Make sure we don't say anything to piss him off. That is not your job. And if anybody makes you feel like you have to do that, then you fucking walk away. Because around here, even if you're listening to me, we are badasses. We don't look for anybody's outside validation. We give it to ourselves. And that's where you take your power back. But what survival mode can look like is people pleasing. That's that fawn response, guys. It's not our job to make you happy. It's not our job to make other people happy. And if they make you feel that way, don't fucking talk to them again. I am a lot happier now that I've been by myself, and I can and I don't have to make anybody happy. If I don't want to do something, no, I don't want to do it. Or I don't want to text you back. I'm just not fucking texting you back. I don't need to give you a long, drawn-out response. I don't need to respond to you just because you text me. If I don't want to, I'm not going to. And if you got a problem with it, then you can kiss it. And that's what everybody's, I feel like more people should do this. A lot of people, you don't protect your energy. You're letting everybody dictate your own mood, and your life is out of control. And I know a lot of y'all are unhappy, but you don't know how to fix it. It's not happy. It's not hard. It's just, God, even be by yourself so and get in tune with your body and your own energy so you know what is yours and what is not yours. Because sometimes even if you feel kind of crappy, you can have other people's energy on you. And that's why it's not yours. But whatever. Okay. Constant anxiety. This is what survival mode looks like, is constant anxiety. Just anxious all the time. Overthinking. Seeking validation and difficulty trusting yourself. So I thought I was broken, but I didn't realize that my nervous system was doing exactly what it learned to do in order to survive. So a lot of this stuff, walking on eggshells, I had to do that with my mom. Hypervigilance, constantly scanning the environment. People pleasing. Trying to make other people happy who are so emotionally insecure, and somehow made that shit my problem. That is not my problem, and that is not yours to take on, so you give them that energy back. Constant anxiety, of course I would have had constant anxiety. My God, it was like at any one moment in time, somebody can just go from just okay to extreme. My mom was extreme. Man, she'd be like, I love you, I hate you. And I'm like, I don't know what? Crazy. Overthinking. Of course I would overthink and doubt myself because I had somebody, even when I spoke up, you'd be like, no, you're not supposed to feel that way. No, you should feel this way. And it's funny how the very thing she made me feel was the exact thing that she was doing. Like one time I think I spoke up and I told her how I felt, and she was like, no, you're not supposed to feel that way. You should feel, you're being selfish. She told me I was being selfish, when she was the very one being selfish because she made it all about her. A true parent will sit there and validate your feelings. If my son comes to me and he's like, I'm sad, and I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, are you okay? Let's talk about it. Is there something that made you sad? And that's okay to feel. But when you tell these kids, oh no, that's not okay to feel, you are making them second guess themselves. And I feel so, I I don't know. It pulls on my heart because I know there's so many kids that are struggling with this. And now, even as adults, they're constantly second guessing themselves because they had emotionally immature parents that made it all about them. Just because you're a parent doesn't mean you need to discredit these kids. But y'all just fucking wait, because you will get your karma, and even your kids, bet they will not fucking talk to you when they get to want to be an adult. They may have to talk to you now that they are under your roof, but when they become 18 and they move out or whatever, they get their own life. If you made them feel shitty, why are they gonna want to be around that energy? I sure as hell didn't. And my mom, she didn't like that. The older that I got, the more she realized she was losing control. Because abuse is all about control. They do not let you be your own individual. It's all about control and manipulation. They make it all about them. So, even if you're a kid listening right now and you're in an abusive environment where your parent treats you, if they don't treat you with unconditional love, like it's not right. Parents should love you truly unconditionally. So when you get to be older, please, your parents don't deserve, they don't deserve it. You don't have to keep that line of communication open. You don't even have to go around them anymore. You can pretend like they don't exist, especially if they're constantly so hard on you. My mom was that way. My gosh. She would send me hateful text messages. Then I got hateful letters. Why the fuck am I going to want to be around somebody who constantly puts me down and degrades me? But you know what I realized? That's how she felt about herself. And that had nothing to do with me, and that has nothing to do with you. So if you're in an environment right now where you have somebody like that, please, just know that it's an option, that you don't have to talk to that parent again. And don't let them guilt trip you, because they use all these negative, low vibrational emotions to keep you stuck and to keep you under their manipulation. It's a lot of fear, shame, guilt, when they're the very people who should be ashamed of how they are treating you. Not talking to my mom and cutting the communication with her off was one of the best things I did, other than leaving my ex. My life started to change and it started to shift. And it wasn't all about her. And she didn't like that. I'm like, I got my own family now. I've got my own boys. I ain't got time to take care of you because I'm not your fucking parent. It's not my job. Maybe you need to talk to your parent and ask them why they treated you so shitty. It's unfortunate, but that is not a me problem. Sometimes I get so tired. I know that people are going to be like, this is really deep. I know that this is not my first lifetime, like coming here and doing this. I'm a healer. Okay. I come here to get really broken and to come, and to do things that most people don't have enough balls to do. And everybody's sitting around freaking scrolling or, trying to drink or, gambling away their own fucking problems because they don't have enough balls to face it. And I came here to actually do the work. Anyways, I start talking and a lot of the stuff, but yes, it's not my fuck. And then I know some people, it's funny how the most insecure people, if you stay to yourself and you stay in your own lane, because I don't want any distractions. I came here to do big shit, and I ain't got time to talk and chit chat even about the weather. I could care less. And so if that pisses you off, then maybe you're deeply insecure and you are deeply insecure and you need to look internally. It's funny how you keep to yourself, how that can piss off, but but I see like people underestimate the shit out of me, and I kind of like it because they don't see it coming. Like they're like, wow, she outsmarted us. Hell yeah, I fucking did. But also don't give them a reaction. Some people just want reactions, and I don't even, no, that's not even worth my time and energy. When you realize how valuable your time and your energy is, you won't give it to just anybody who comes up. Some people just want to fucking start a fight because they just want to start a fight, or they want to distract you. And if you give them a reaction, you allow it. Stop allowing it. You don't need to give them a reaction. Just fucking block them. Who cares? They don't deserve your energy. And not everybody deserves your energy. That's another thing I had to learn. especially with me, and my light is so bright, I'm sure everybody's attracted to it. But no, not everybody deserves this light. I don't need to give it to everybody. And then when I've done that in the past, even sometimes I end up drained. No. These energy vampires. Anyways, on to the next thing. So what I thought healing meant. So I thought healing meant never feeling anxious, fixing everyone else, finding the perfect answer, becoming fearless, or never making mistakes. And most people think healing is about becoming a different person, but it truly is not. And so what I know now is healing wasn't about becoming somebody new. It's about coming home to myself. It's about learning to trust myself. It's about honoring my feelings. It's about setting boundaries. It's about my self-worth. It's about learning that my needs matter and understanding my nervous system and reclaiming my voice. That's what true healing is. Because you will have certain things that even pop up, even old patterns, because you might be triggered, even just being in an environment, even at being at work, being in an environment, you might get triggered. So different things are going to come up, but also with repetition, you learn to handle them better. You learn to see the habits and the patterns, and you even become more in tune with your energy, your needs, and you learn what energy is yours and what is not yours. And that's become very powerful. And also being very protective of your energy. That is one of the most misunderstood things. Protecting your energy. It's huge. But trusting myself. I used to not trust myself. It's gotten a hell of a lot better. I'm still working on it. It's like I feel like when I came to this planet, I had such a bright light. And then living in the household that I did, oh my God, it just kind of got crushed. It's still there, but it kind of got crushed down. God, my spirits and everything. My spirit just got crushed down little by little. And now I'm working on building it back up. So sure as hell, I'm not letting anybody in my damn energy. I've worked hard to build this thing up after somebody just came along and just tore it down. So I'm very extremely protective of my energy. I will not give my energy to just anybody. And I really don't care for the small talk either. Like you get what I'm saying? Let's not, act like we actually give a fuck. I don't need to people please you. You don't need to people please me. You can just be you and work, and I could just be me and work. And if we see each other in the hall, just say, hey, I don't need to fuck. I don't owe you a 20-minute conversation about how the weather is. I am just so much more deep than that. God, that's like sucks the soul out of me. I don't care. I care more about what's on the inside, the surface level stuff, the deep stuff, that kind of thing. And it's not my job to be buddy with everybody. I swear. I don't care. And that's too when you become extremely powerful when you stop caring. Because I don't care. I don't care. I don't care for your approval. I don't care for your validation. I already give that shit to myself. I don't care about your opinion. I'm the one living my life. You know nothing about me. I really could care less. And it's funny even too how I've noticed I've become a lot better I've become more consistent at creating videos, even short videos with different messages. And they've been doing really well. And it's been going great. And it's funny how some people just want to comment just to comment. And it's funny how I'm like, they didn't even listen to the video. It's funny how the very message that video was on and how they commented on it just proves my point. And it just proves how much that they really need that healing and they really need that message. But they probably just sat there, some person behind the keyboard, and just, but it's kind of funny. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, guys. Y'all can wear yourself out. A lot of these people, they're hoping that they poke me enough, or I'd be like, oh, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. If it's not for you, then why are you gonna comment on it? But I really don't care. But it's kind of funny how, and these people, they don't realize that they're essentially giving you their power. If you just stay in your own lane and you do your own thing and you build what you want in your life, you don't have time for you don't have time to hate on anybody else. But these people, it's funny. So I'm like, okay. It just shows out of control your life is and how you truly feel on the inside. And even how people, and listen to how people respond and talk about other people, because that tells you what kind of person that they are, their whole perspective in this world. Because if they're talking to you and they're talking behind somebody else's back and saying negative things, you bet your ass they're talking about you too. They talk about everybody like that because that's the person that they are. They are showing you and they are telling you exactly what kind of person that they are. That's why I don't do gossip. I could care less. Y'all can sit there and gossip all you fucking want. I don't care. I'm going to be over here building things, building a business, and kicking ass and taking names, and y'all going to be still stuck in the same damn old patterns that you have. And then you're going to get to a point where you're going to have some sort of big moment in your life where you realize, I am so unhappy. Something's got to change. And then you're probably going to start, I don't know, listening to me. But yeah, whatever. And I don't force people. It's not my... You don't force. But I put out the content and I create it for whoever wants to see it. And if you want to troll it, that's okay. Because haters are your number one fan. Literally, they are giving you energy. And if you are like a healer like me too, and you know how to transmute that, you just gave me a bunch of energy to transmute into something beautiful. So thank you. That's why I'm a lot smarter than these people. But whatever, that's cool. It's kind of funny. Okay, whatever. So the biggest lesson Family Haven taught me wasn't that I needed someone to save me. It taught me that I had more strength inside of me than I ever truly realized. And now I am so damn strong. And I was strong before, but I didn't realize that I couldn't see it. My vision of myself was very distorted. It wasn't accurate. And now I can see myself more clearly. So if you're in a hard season right now, I want you to know that where you are today doesn't have to be where you stay. So in 2018, I couldn't have imagined sitting here recording a podcast, sharing my story, building a business, and helping others heal. So sometimes the season that breaks you open is also the season that introduces you to your own strength. So stop fighting the hard things too, because that's where you find your strength, your purpose. And I've never met a strong person with an easy past. So if you're going through something, just know that it's building you up, and it's creating this strength in you that you can't see just yet, but it's there. And with enough healing and consistent action towards your goals, towards your dreams, towards you, that you can achieve absolutely anything that you want to. But just know that it's not going to happen overnight, that things like this, it takes time and it takes consistency, but you can get there. Thank you so much for listening to the Kelly Healing Project. Remember, healing is not about becoming someone new. It's about reconnecting with who you truly are, healing the past, empowering your future. If you'd like to connect further, you can visit me at thekellyhealingproject.com. I'll see you next time.